I think I missed it, but there were some cool blue jays over there that I was hoping I could grab a little snap of. There's a squirrel up there somewhere. I can't really see my phone screen too well. I hope it's visible. Anyway, alright, so this is my second attempt at recording this. The first one I kind of just trailed off a bit, and then my phone ran out of ran out of space. So I had to delete some videos and start again. So we're just gonna walk and ramble for a bit. I just have some things that I want to express about how I feel about speedrunning and kind of the internet in general. And, you know, just vent my frustrations, I suppose. I was thinking of, like, writing this down and reading it off, but then it's just, that's not the way to communicate something. Like, maybe for some people they're adept at, like, reading off a script, but for me, you know, there's no passion in that. It just needs to, like, come out of me as I'm talking. So, yeah, we're just gonna take a little walk. And yeah, pretty much my gripe with the internet in general is that everyone wants to be entertained, they want to be sedated, and they kind of just are looking for trivia, but no one really wants to understand anything deeply, and especially people are not that interested in innovation. And when it comes to speedrunning, you know, you can really see that in a lot of places. Like, I understand on one hand, the low-hanging fruit has been grasped by many. You know, the easiest glitches or speed tricks to find have been found. I understand that, but there's definitely much more. And I feel like it's been years since I've really seen an active effort to try and really push any of the games that I care about. There's the occasional person, you know, shout out to Mr. Miguel, like, literally keeping the Metroid Prime scene alive. Sorry to other people. I know that some other people sometimes stream or sometimes do stuff, but, like, it's not like it once was. I have these memories of, you know, I started getting into this stuff around 2010, and maybe from 2012 to 2014, there was just this sense of, like, everyone wanted to find things and push things, and it was like a research group. It was like we would get together and discuss ideas and post, you know, what do you think of this? And someone would analyze it or improve on it. And I don't know why that's not still happening. I mean, I kind of do. My suspicion is that it's that people don't want the work. They don't want to, you know, really grind something out. And, you know, maybe they're just tired. I understand that, like, life can be kind of brutal, and a lot of people are, you know, just scraping by, and they don't have the abundance of energy or time to dedicate to, you know, a craft that's really, truly a hobby. If you're making a living out of this, like, I don't know, I think you're probably doing something wrong. The only way to really do it, unless you're a super outlier like Pan and Coic or something, is, you know, you have to appeal to the masses, and in doing that, this is kind of the internet in general. This isn't just speedrunning, but, you know, you're making video essays, and you're skipping over all the important details, but also, like, video essays aren't the way to share information. They're the way to entertain people, and to give them trivia and little factoids, and start a fandom of people who, you know, reference, like, oh, the ketchup on the SpongeBob disc, or something like that. But it's not, there isn't, like, innovation happening here. There isn't, what got me interested in this stuff in the first place was really, like, having a group of people that, it really felt like research. It was like a little research community, and it was really fun. There was nothing else like it. This untapped, like, market of the blank slate of a new game or something. You just go in, and everyone's finding little pieces and stringing their ideas together, and eventually you come up with a model of how, like, the physics engine or the little quirks of the game work together, and interesting exploits, and then you get creative. It's artistic. Like, you're optimizing and finding new little ways to do things, and eventually this whole meta develops around it. And I don't think we're done, but I don't think anyone's working on it, and, you know, except for maybe a couple of people, and it's really not that many, and, you know, they really have lives of their own, and, like, a lot of people that know the most stuff or, you know, have the most creativity have left, And I understand that, like, you can't stay around, but no one seems to be taking their place, and I don't know, I guess in some sense it's kind of lonely, but in another I just feel like, I don't know, people just want to be entertained, and I've been pressured by many to make video essays or something, like explaining all the little intricacies of Metroid Prime or SpongeBob or Sonic Adventure 2, and I'm not interested in doing that because, well, for one, I don't think I'd be good at it. I can't remember if I said that already, but, you know, this is attempt number 2 at the video, so I might be repeating myself to make sure that I, you know, don't forget something, but I don't think that that's my forte. Like, it's a very different thing to be interested in researching something and developing a model of it versus, you know, making an entertaining video. And I feel like the more entertaining it is, the less is really being said a lot of the time. And the more it kind of steers people away from what I think the magic of this hobby is. And I was thinking last night, like, when someone finds a trick or a new exploit, let's say a new exploit, like they did something that, you know, I've never seen before, and in my model of how this game works in my head, I see it and it's like, that doesn't make sense. The first thing that I do is boot up the game and play around with it. I don't ask that person, like, oh, make a video explaining how this works, because for one, they probably don't know all the details of it, and for two, like, you can't really explain a model of something. Like, there's so many moving parts, and there's so much that becomes like an intuition you build around how these things work together, and you can't just start from the ground up. It's like, you know, well, like, what would be like a crazy example? Like, someone plays an instrument and they're like, explain to me how to play that instrument. You know, I'm not going to say that TASing or speedrunning is that intricate, but like, you're not going to learn from watching a video. It's the same thing. You have to take the time to go and fiddle with it yourself and really develop an intuition. And an intuition is like a non-verbal understanding. It's not a list of guidelines or like, not even necessarily rules. It's something you like learn to feel. Like, with these games, I've gotten to a point, and I know other people have too in the past, I just don't see it as often these days, but I've gotten to a point where I can pose the question to myself when I'm laying in bed or on the bus or taking a walk, like, what would happen if I did this in this situation? And the answer that comes back to me is usually correct, because I know how these games work. I have a lot of experience, and that can't be taught in a video. And like, you have to go and play these things for yourself, and if you're not going to do that, then you're probably not going to find anything. And then, to me, that's what I care about. I want to see what people can come up with. I want to see something creative. And I mean, yeah, like, every time I come back to like Battle for Bikini Bottom or something, it's like, okay, I've been away for a year, what's new? Nothing? Okay. Like, no one's working on it. And, you know, like, because of all this fandom stuff, and there's thousands of people aware of the game, and it is just trivia, it is just entertainment to them. And I feel like the actual base of people that really care is dwindling or almost entirely gone. And those who are still around just want to make video essays about things because, you know, they can make money, or you can have internet clout or something like this, but that's never appealed to me. In fact, I kind of want to have none of that. I don't like showing my face. I don't like being an internet personality. Like, I want to be, if anything, respected for my work and left alone. That's pretty much it. And yeah, I don't think this is unique to the speedrunning community. That's one of the things that I feel like is important to say, is that this is just kind of the way that the internet has gone. It's optimized for sedating, entertaining content for people to consume, and it gives them little tidbits of information that isn't founded in anything. There's no creativity in watching like a maths video or a cooking video or something like that, and not taking it into the real world and experimenting with it. Like, yeah, you know, this little factoid that they harped on in the video, that, you know, you got a little I hate using this analogy or whatever, but you get a little dopamine hit and you're like, oh, that was satisfying. Like they build up to this big reveal that, oh, it's 15 or something. That's like this magic number. And it's like, yeah, I mean, sure, that's useful to know, but you don't know it if you don't live it. I guess that's kind of the thing. And I don't think people have the energy to really live it anymore. And part of that's just like, you know, not to get too crazy, but like most people are pretty sick, pretty unhealthy. Like people in general today don't take care of themselves. They spend a lot of time online and they've conditioned themselves to be low energy, and you can't be creative in a low energy state. Like you have to be, you have to have an abundance. And I know, like we're all older now. We don't have the time. I know that when we were all like 15, it was a lot easier. You just go to high school, think about finding glitches, get home, and you have several hours to test it. Or over summer break, you know, a lot of innovations are found. I know that people can't just like dedicate themselves to this thing, and I know it doesn't pay. So, like, I get that. But then, if that's the case, then, you know, maybe I shouldn't be doing it either. Lately I've been much more interested in woodworking, and I have a job woodworking, and I get to use some of the skills I've developed in TASing and glitch hunting in that job, because a lot of it is understanding geometry and spatial reasoning and all of these things. Like, that's a big part of understanding how to find glitches or to optimize routes. Like, you need to know your geometry and a little bit of, you know, just general, like, math intuitions. But you build those by doing. You don't build those by listening to someone talk about it. And, I mean, yeah, this is, like, a problem in our culture. I hate, like, I don't want to go off the rails and, you know, have this big, like, I found the solution or I found the problem and this is whatever. Like, you know, there's more problems going on. But this is a big one, and it frustrates me, and it makes me not want to be on the internet at all. The more time that I spend on here, the more I end up just mindlessly consuming content. I don't want to sit at my computer and watch videos or listen to podcasts or engage in, like, really boring, memey conversations where you're trying to make each other laugh, but it's not even, like, personal at any level. You're just posting memes you found on Twitter or something, or whatever social media people use these days. I don't know. But yeah, I forget if I even mentioned. My bad. I wish I didn't. I should have checked how much space was on my phone before I started. But yeah, like, my computer is currently packed up. I don't want to spend time at it anymore. There's a couple things that I want to finish. The Dark Story TAS would be nice because it's been in the works since 2017. It just feels wrong to not finish it. We're relatively close to the end. And that is actually, for me, that feels like kind of the last community where there are other people that are, like, my colleagues. You know, Brian PSO and THC98, like, I enjoy working with them. It's so much more satisfying to work on a project with someone else, to go back and forth and innovate and see what they have to contribute. I don't want to just do it all myself. And for, like, a long time, I wasn't doing it all myself. And I know, like, I'm not trying to say, like, oh, I've found everything. I know that there are, like, great people in the Metroid Prime community. Like, I didn't find various stuff, Justin DM, T3, Claris, like, all the greats of the old days. They were, you know, around in maybe 2014, 2016, like that kind of time, really pushing stuff. And it motivated me to want to push things more with them. And yeah, I feel like no one else really cares or tries as much. And even the people who do are in the same kind of boat as me, where, like, part of them, they just spend a lot of their time being entertained, and they don't really take things seriously, and they're not really innovating stuff. And I don't even know if it's avoidable. Like, the internet is so hyper optimized to just grab people's attention and sedate them and, you know, give them false wisdom, knowledge, I suppose. Like, it's not wisdom. It's just factoids. And yeah, I don't want to make videos. I don't want to make video essays. I don't want to entertain. And I mean, yeah, another thing that I mentioned before when I made the cheat percent tasks in SpongeBob is that at some level, these games are getting so, what would be the word, like intensive. They're difficult. There's a lot of work that goes into optimizing these things. It's an incredible amount of work to put an idea into reality, to like bring it forth. And you know, I was more motivated to do those things when I felt like there were more people that were like appreciative of it. Like, I don't know, it doesn't, I don't know if that's the best word for it. But I really felt in the past that like I was giving a part of myself to others. You know, I put my heart and soul into a piece of work and people were like truly blown away by it. It wasn't a video to just put on and watch and then forget about. It wasn't like just a spectacle of like, oh wow, the character moves so quick. It's like, you know, people would comment specific things like, that was so creative there, and it's like, thank you. Like I don't know, like I am sure that people are going to be frustrated at this video, but at this point, I don't know, I don't really care. Like, be mad. I want things to be better. I want people to care about things more. I want the bar to be higher. And, you know, maybe I'll just have to go somewhere else in life to achieve this. Like I mentioned, with woodworking, the bar is pretty high. Like, I'm not good at it. I'm still a super beginner. But it's like, no one's trying to... well, I shouldn't say that. There are woodworking YouTube channels where people are just trying to entertain and show off some, like, crazy impractical thing. But for the most part, like, it's not that. It's actually, like, real. Anyway, what are we at? 17 minutes? Have I covered everything that I need to cover? I did want to kind of just disclaimer again, like, I don't know, these things are subject to change. This is a part of me that wonders, you know, if I have a bunch of free time, maybe I will come back and finish the Metroid Prime tasks, or at least just like, you know, get some of the ideas that are in my head into reality so that, you know, they're documented and all that. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff documented already that it's on my channel, and I know it's hard to find. It wasn't the best at titling things, but like, it's there for those that want to find it. And yeah, I want to move on in life, do some other things, experience some other forms of creativity, and I think that those are really, at this point in the course of the way that the internet has evolved, you just have to go offline. That's it. Like, there is no space on the internet anymore that isn't just corroded. It's these massive instant messaging, like, public discords where nothing of value can really be said, and if it is, no one sees it. And everyone's just kind of tired and lethargic. And, you know, maybe if you got outside and took care of yourself, you wouldn't be so tired and lethargic. It's worked for me. I don't know, like, go lift weights or something. And if you're going to be at the computer, do something creative. But I know that it's a trap. Like, I fall for it too. I sit at my PC and I veg out and I don't do anything, and, you know, I just feel like, wow, what a waste. And it used to be like I would only really turn my computer on to tasks or find glitches or communicate with other people and theorize ideas. And I spent so much of my youth just daydreaming about ideas of how to make things more optimal, how to push the meta, how to do whatever. And like, that was so much fun. It's so much more fun than watching video essays or making them. I think there's a lot more to be found in these games, but you know, I'll leave it up to someone else. If someone wants to challenge my position and go beat some of my times or improve some of my like, you know, room ILs or individual levels or something, like maybe that'll invigorate me to want to see what I can do, because that's kind of the most fun to me, is the competition. I like when other people are pushing me, and I just, yeah, I don't know. Like, I probably just sound really whiny, but this is just how I've been feeling, and I've really just been restructuring my life lately, and I want to, like, spend my time wisely. Like, it's not that long of a life. I'm relatively old now. Got into this stuff when I was 13 or 14, and it's been over a decade. And yeah, I think the break will continue for the foreseeable future, and I hope that something of value can be taken from this video for some people. Like, you should go do something. Like, go master your body, go lift some weights. I think I'm gonna end up in someone's backyard if I keep walking this way, so I'm gonna turn around. Go build something. And if you want to play video games, like, don't do it passively. You know, I actually think it might be even a better use of your time to play something casually than it is to speedrun it these days. Like, if you're gonna sit on Twitch and reset over and over and over again doing the same thing, that's probably a bigger waste of your time. Like, go play Ocarina of Time. Don't do any speed tricks. Read the dialogue and appreciate the game design. That's a beautiful game. I played it for the first time this year. It's incredible. Earthbound's incredible too. Like, if you want, there's art out there that you can consume. It's gonna impact your life a lot more than resetting runs. And really, I should mention this too, like, no one did that before Twitch. It wasn't a thing. Like, you didn't just sit in your room and grind attempts day in and day out for months or years. That's insane. That's not, like, if you want to practice. If you want to be the best, if you want to get the record, like, yeah, you have to put in a lot of time, but that, like, grinding runs, resetting every little mistake, like, I see people doing that who are, like, 40 minutes off the record, and it's like, what a waste. I don't know. Like, you could be learning about how the game works, and it would improve how you play it, instead of just, like, repeating the same thing over and over again. And I guess not everyone has, like, the spark to want to push things, but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. Anyway, here's a dog. Probably end it there.